Imagine waking up on a Monday morning in France and not setting an alarm. No boss waiting, no commute, no meeting at 9. Your phone shows a notification. Dividends received. $1,800 deposited this month. You did not work for that money. It arrived because you own things. That is the dividend life. And today, I am going to show you exactly how much you need invested in France to make it real. Stay with me because the numbers at the end are going to completely change how you think about investing. First, what exactly is a dividend? And why does it matter more in France than almost anywhere else in Europe? A dividend is a portion of a company's profit paid directly to shareholders. You own a piece of the company. The company makes money. Some of that money flows to you. You do not have to work for it. You do not have to show up. You just have to own it. Now, in France, there are two main ways to collect dividends: through a standard brokerage account or through the PEA, the Plan d'épargne en action. The difference between those two options is massive when it comes to how much tax you pay on your dividend income. Outside a PEA, dividends in France are taxed at the flat tax rate of 30%. That is 12.8% income tax plus 17.2% social charges. Inside a PE held for more than 5 years, only the social charges apply, 17.2%. That is a massive difference on large dividend portfolios. This is why the PEA is the single most important tool for French dividend investors. Fill it first, always. Now let us talk about the real question. How much invested capital do you actually need to live off dividends in France? The answer depends on three things: your monthly expenses, your dividend yield, and your tax situation. Let us start with expenses. What does a basic comfortable life actually cost in France per month? Outside Paris, a comfortable single-person life costs roughly $2,000 to $2,500 net per month. In Paris, that number rises to $3,000 to $3,500 minimum for the same comfort level. For a couple living comfortably outside Paris, budget $3,200 to $3,800 per month combined. So let us work with three target levels. Level 1, $2,000 a month. Level 2, $3,000 a month. Level 3, $5,000 a month. Now the yield. What yield can you realistically expect from a French dividend portfolio in 2026? A broad French equity ETF like one tracking the SAC 40 currently yields around 3 to 3.5% in dividends before tax. A European dividend-focused ETF yields between 3.5 and 4.5%. Higher yield, slightly more concentrated exposure. Individual high-dividend French stocks, companies like Total Energies, Sanofi, AXA, can yield between 5 and 7%, but carry more individual company risk. For a sustainable diversified portfolio, let us work with a realistic net yield of 3.5% after charges, before tax. Now the maths. To generate $2,000 net per month from dividends in France after the flat tax of 30%, you need your dividends to produce $2,157 gross per month. That means $34,285 in gross dividends per year. At a 3.5% portfolio yield that requires a portfolio of approximately $980,000, call it 1 million euros. 1 million euros invested at 3.5%. Yield generates approximately $2,000 net per month after French flat tax. That is your level 1 freedom number. Now, if you use a PEA held for 5+ years, the tax drops to just 17.2% social charges. Your 1 million portfolio now generates closer to $2,400 net per month. That extra $400 per month from simply using the right account adds up to $4,800 extra per year, every single year, for doing nothing different. This is why the PEA is not optional. It is essential. Every French dividend investor must understand this. Now level 2, $3,000 net per month. This is genuine comfort anywhere in France, even in Paris. To generate $3,000 net per month via dividends outside a PEA after 30% flat tax, you need a portfolio of approximately $1,170,000. Inside a PEA, that number drops to around $1,250,000 because you keep more of every dividend euro. At $3,000 net per month, your bills are completely solved. Food, rent, transport, healthcare, travel, everything is covered with room to spare. You do not need to work. Not because you are lazy, but because your assets work harder than most people's jobs. Now level 3, $5,000 net per month. This is the number ASFA's European equivalent would call a very comfortable lifestyle anywhere in France. To generate $5,000 net per month from dividends outside a PEA, you need approximately $2,450,000 invested. Inside a PEA that drops to approximately $2,050,000. Still a serious number, but a number that is absolutely reachable with time and discipline. Let me give you the complete summary table so these numbers are crystal clear. These are not fantasy numbers. These are not lottery numbers. These are math, consistent investing plus time plus the right accounts. Now let us talk about how long it actually takes to get there. Starting from zero, if you invest $1,000 per month and achieve an average annual return of 7%, which is a conservative long-term historical Average for diversified equity portfolios. How long to reach 1,000,000? The answer is approximately 30 years. That sounds long, but most people reading this have 30 years ahead of them. Increase that to $2,000 per month invested, and the timeline drops to approximately 22 years. At $3,000 per month invested, you reach the million in around 17 years. At $5,000 per month, it drops to 13 years. The most powerful lever is not the return. It is the savings rate. How much you invest every single month. That is what you control. Now, here is something most dividend investors in France get wrong. They focus only on yield. They chase the highest paying stocks, and they end up with a fragile portfolio. A company paying 8 or 9% dividend yield is almost always paying that because its share price has fallen. High yield can signal distress, not generosity, the sweet spot for sustainable. Dividend investing in France is between 3 and 5% yield from quality diversified companies or ETFs, companies like LVMH, Air Liquide, L'Oreal, Schneider Electric. These are the kind of quality French businesses that have paid and grown dividends for decades. Dividend growth matters as much as current yield. A company growing its dividend by 5% per year doubles your income in 14 years without adding a single euro to your portfolio. That is the power of compounding dividend growth. You do not just earn more. Your income grows faster and faster over time without any extra effort. Now let us talk about the assurance fee, because for French investors, this is the second most important tool after the P. After 8 years, withdrawals from an assurance fee benefit from a significant tax allowance. $4,600 per year for singles and $9,200 for couples before any tax applies. Combined with a P, an assurance fee creates a powerful, two-layer tax-efficient dividend and investment income system in France. This combination is what France's genuinely wealthy use to protect and grow their income, not because they know secrets, because they understand the rules. Now the psychological side, because reaching your dividend freedom number is only half the challenge. The other half is staying invested long enough to get there. Most people never do, not because they run out of money, because they run out of patience. The market drops 20%. Your portfolio loses value on paper. Every instinct tells you to sell, but selling resets the clock entirely. The investors who reach dividend freedom in France are not smarter than everyone else. They are simply more patient than everyone else. Let us talk about what the dividend life actually feels like once you get there. Because the numbers are only part of the story. Monday morning means nothing. Tuesday is the same as Saturday. Time becomes yours entirely. You stop trading your hours for money, and you start doing things because you want to, not because you have to. The French healthcare system, the culture, the food, the pace of life. These things become a backdrop to a genuinely rich existence. France is genuinely one of the best countries in the world to live a dividend-funded life. Healthcare is exceptional. Cost of living outside Paris is manageable. Culture is rich. Quality of life is world-class. Here is your final summary. Level 1, $2,000 net per month. Requires approximately $1,000 invested. Level 2, $3,000 net. Requires approximately $1,250,000 in a PA. Level 3, in a honnête. Requires approximately $250,000 in a P. None of these numbers are impossible. All of them require patience, consistency, and the right tax-efficient accounts. Start with the P, stay invested. Reinvest every dividend until you reach your number. If this helped you understand exactly what it takes to live off dividends in France, subscribe, give this a like, and drop a comment.